Some people pass through our lives and vanish like the wind. Others, even without saying a word, remain. And you can feel it, in your body, in your soul, in the silence, that something about it isn't ordinary. It's as if something greater is behind it. Have you ever felt that? This video reveals the hidden signs that show when a meeting isn't just coincidence, but a calling from the soul. Inspired by the deep psychology of Carl Jung, you'll understand why some connections feel written in the stars, and what that reveals about you. Have you ever looked at someone and felt something you couldn't explain? It wasn't just attraction. It wasn't just chemistry. It was as if something ancient awakened inside you. As if your soul, asleep for lifetimes, whispered softly, "Pay attention, this is important." That's when everything changes. You feel time stop, the noise of the world fades, and that person, that presence, seems to pierce right through you. But why? Why do some encounters feel so intense, so destined, even without logic? Even if they're brief, or never fully happen. The truth is, not everything can be explained by reason. Carl Jung devoted his life to understanding this, to exploring what lies beneath the connections that mark us, break us, and sometimes heal us. And the most astonishing part? He discovered these encounters are not random. They have a purpose. They are soul callings. But how can you tell if it's real or just disguised loneliness? How can you know if what you felt is true? Stay with me. In the next few minutes, you'll understand what's behind these magnetic connections, and why, sometimes, they appear to completely transform you. Because this could be the beginning of everything. Carl Jung once said, "The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed." But what if love isn't what we were taught? What if true love isn't about completion, but about awakening? It's not about someone coming to save you, or someone who makes you forget yourself. True love is the one that makes you remember who you are. Because, according to Jung, love isn't born in the mind. It rises from the unconscious. It speaks in symbols, in dreams, in omens. It reveals itself in the coincidences you ignored, in the intuition you silenced. Have you ever wondered why some people touch you so deeply, even without reason? Why you dream of someone before ever meeting them, or feel as if you've known them in another life? This isn't madness. It's the language of the soul. Jung said, "The love that transforms isn't the one that pleases the ego, but the one that calls the soul to evolve." And here's the secret almost no one understands. The love that feels difficult is often the one pushing you toward awakening. But how do you tell the difference between a healing challenge and a cycle that traps you? That answer comes in the next part. And when you understand it, you'll stop searching for love outside and start recognizing it within. Because the love that changes everything begins with an inward gaze. Have you ever felt like something was guiding you, even if you couldn't explain what it was? As if an invisible force was leading you straight to someone? Well, maybe that force has a name: the unconscious. According to Carl Jung, most of your choices are not made by you. They are made by the part of you that you don't yet know. Your unconscious. It's the one that attracts, that repels, that recognizes, that resists. It's the one that pushes you towards certain people, even when reason is screaming, no. Has this ever happened to you? Falling for someone who made no logical sense at all? Or feeling an unexplainable discomfort with someone who, on paper, was perfect? That's not just a gut feeling. It's your soul trying to speak to you. But do you know what's even scarier? Most people ignore that voice. They enter relationships based on logic, appearance, convenience, and then wonder why they feel empty. The unconscious speaks softly. It reveals itself in sensations you can't explain. In that sudden chill in your stomach for no reason. In that peace that arrives effortlessly. And Jung warned us, Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. So, was that meeting really fate? Or was it your unconscious trying to heal you? Are you truly in love, or just trying to fill an ancient void? Stay with me, because in the next part, you'll understand why even the right connections, the ones that seem perfect, might not resonate with your soul, and why ignoring that feeling could cost you years of your life. And the answer is not out there. It's within. Sometimes, everything seems to align. You meet someone, the conversation flows, you share the same tastes, the plans match. But even so, something inside you screams in silence. Something's not right. Have you ever felt that? He's perfect for you, your friends say. She has everything you've been looking for, your mind insists. But your body, your soul, hesitate. Why? Why, even when everything makes sense, do you feel an unexplained emptiness? A restlessness that won't go away, no matter how hard you try to force it? The answer lies in what most people ignore. Intuition. Carl Jung said intuition is the bridge between the conscious and the unconscious. It's the soul trying to speak, before the mind decides for you. But most of us are taught to silence that. To choose based on checklists, logic, and expectations. And so we fall into right relationships, ones that look good, but don't vibrate with our truth. Have you ever been with someone and, even while smiling, felt something inside you was dying? That's because love is not about logic. It's about resonance. You don't need to understand why something doesn't feel right. You just need to respect it when your soul says, this is not the way. But what if what you call fear of love is actually your soul protecting you? What if the doubt isn't sabotage, but wisdom? Stay with me, because in the next point, you'll discover that true love isn't about finding someone just like you, but someone who awakens what has long been asleep, and that may be more challenging than you imagine. And what if I told you that the love that transforms you the most isn't the one that completes you, but the one that confronts you with the parts of yourself you had forgotten? Carl Jung believed that every man carries within him an unconscious feminine image, the anima, and every woman carries within her a masculine image, the animus. These inner figures live silently within us, but they awaken with force when we meet someone who touches them. Have you ever wondered why certain people seem to complete you? As if something inside you finally clicks when you're near them? Maybe it's not just love. Maybe it's your very soul looking into a mirror. Because the other, the one who enchants you, destabilizes you, hypnotizes you, might be activating parts of you that have long been asleep. He touches your anima. She awakens your animus. And when that happens, you're not just loving the other person. You're loving what they reveal within you. But be careful. This can be magical or devastating, because the deeper the connection, the more it will confront you, the more it will pull you inward. Are you ready for that? Are you ready to see in the other not only the reflection of your light, but also your shadow? Stay with me, because in the next part, we'll explore the less romantic side of true love. When it doesn't comfort you, but strips you bare. When it doesn't soothe you, but forces you to face everything you still haven't healed. What if true love isn't the one that comforts you, but the one that demands you face yourself completely? Have you ever loved someone, and at the same time felt exposed? As if, being close to them, everything you try to hide, your insecurities, fears, wounds, suddenly came to the surface? That's not weakness. That's the effect of the shadow. Carl Jung said the shadow is everything you are, but don't want to see. Everything that's been repressed, denied, forgotten, but still lives, hidden inside you. And guess where it shows up most strongly? In relationships. Especially the ones that touch your soul. If someone throws you off balance, makes you lose control, forces you to face your most impulsive reactions, Maybe that person isn't the problem. Maybe they're the mirror. Have you ever considered that the love that hurts you the most might be the very one revealing what still needs healing? No, we're not talking about abusive relationships, but about those intense connections that expose your deepest layers, that show you what is wounded, not to break you, but to transform you. Are you willing to face that? Are you ready to stop blaming the other person and start listening to what the pain is trying to teach you? Stay with me, because in the next part, we'll talk about a turning point, how to distinguish between a love that expands you and a relationship that only drains you. And that answer could change everything. Not every love that feels intense is true. Some ignite the heart, others drain the soul. But how can you tell the difference? Have you ever been with someone who seemed incredible at first, but over time made you feel smaller, more exhausted, more insecure, farther from yourself? Maybe you confused intensity with connection, and what seemed like love was just imbalance disguised as passion. Carl Jung said that true love doesn't drain you, it expands you. It's like a flame that warms, not one that burns. It's lightness, even in difficult moments. It's growth, even when there's confrontation. But then, how can you tell the difference? Ask yourself this: do I feel more like myself when I'm with this person? Or do you have to wear masks, hold back your essence, prove your worth constantly? The love that brings you closer to yourself is the one that heals. The one that forces you to hide in order to be accepted is the one that makes you sick. Sometimes, it's not the other person draining your energy. It's you, insisting on fitting into a space where your soul no longer belongs. And here's a powerful reminder. If you have to dim your light so someone else can shine, that's not love. Do you feel it? Feel that something's off, even if you can't name what it is? Stay with me, because in the next part, you'll understand why soul love isn't here just to fill you, but to build something greater, with you and beyond you. Have you ever felt that, with someone, life started to make more sense? As if, together, you weren't just living, but building something bigger? Soul love isn't about filling a void. It's about overflowing. It's when two paths meet, not by accident, but because there's a shared mission. A merging of energies, not just to love, but to create. Jung said that the true meeting of souls happens when there's more than attraction. There's purpose. And you feel it in the smallest details, in the ease of silence, in the peace of being together without needing to explain, in the shared vision of something that doesn't exist yet, but is already pulsing between you. Have you ever felt that? A connection that goes beyond the physical. As if that person appeared to remind you why you're here? It's when dreams align, and even time seems to conspire. There's no rush, no pressure, just presence. This is the kind of love where true partnership is born. Not the one that holds you back, but the one that propels you forward. But be mindful. Not every deep connection is meant to last. Some come only to remind you of your path. And that's okay. What matters is knowing when it's just a passage, and when it's the road. Stay with me, because in the next part, we'll talk about one of the greatest emotional traps, confusing intensity with truth, and why that can lead you to repeat the same cycles, over and over again. Not everything that burns is soul fire. Sometimes, what feels like passion is just the ego screaming for attention. Can you tell the difference? Some relationships start like wildfires. Intense stares, fast words, eternal promises, made in days. Your heart races. You miss them the same day. You feel like you found the love of your life. But, have you really? Or did you just activate an old wound, disguised as connection? Carl Jung warned us, intensity is not the same as truth. Sometimes, what consumes you isn't love. It's attachment. It's neediness. It's trauma, in resonance. Have you been through this? Thinking you found the one, only to realize you were just repeating a pattern? True love transforms you, but it will never ask you to dim your light just to feel seen. So here's the golden question. Does this relationship drain you or elevate you? If you constantly have to chase, if you live on emotional roller coasters, if you mistake pain for depth, stop, breathe. Sometimes, what feels overwhelmingly intense in the beginning is just your soul crying for help. And the kind of love that's meant to stay. It arrives calmly, steadily, truly. Stay with me, because in the next part, we'll talk about the most mysterious signs, synchronicities, and why some encounters feel like they were written before you were even born. Do you believe in coincidences? Or have you ever felt that some things simply couldn't have happened by chance? You think of someone, and they call you. You walk into a place for the first time, and feel like you've been there before. You meet someone, and it feels like you've known them for centuries. That's not imagination. That's synchronicity. Carl Jung said that when the inner world aligns with the outer world, the universe responds. And it responds through signs, through improbable meetings, through coincidences that carry silent messages. The question is, are you paying attention? Because the more you ignore these signs, the more disconnected you feel. But when you start noticing, it's as if an invisible force is guiding you, as if every step, every person, every encounter is part of a greater plan. And here's the most magical part. Some souls meet again, life after life, guided by this invisible dance of time and destiny. They cross paths at the right time, in the right place, to remind each other of who they are, to continue a story that didn't begin here. Have you ever felt that? Looked at someone and thought, I know you from somewhere. Even though you've never seen them before, maybe you do know them. Not with your eyes, but with your soul. Stay with me, because in the next part, you'll understand why true love doesn't shout. It doesn't arrive like a storm. It arrives like home, like peace, like the memory of something that has always been yours. Some connections come like thunder, others, like a whisper, and yet, they mark you forever. Because true love doesn't speed you up, it holds you. Have you ever been with someone, and suddenly the world felt quieter? As if you didn't need to be anything other than who you already are? No effort, no fear, no masks. It's rare. But when it happens, you know, the presence of that person doesn't pressure you. It brings you back to yourself. Carl Jung said that when the soul recognizes another soul, it doesn't feel euphoria. It feels peace. It's the opposite of what you were taught. It's not adrenaline. It's not obsession. It's the quiet feeling of, I'm home. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to win anyone over. Because true connection doesn't require performance. It simply is. Have you ever experienced that? Been with someone in silence, and felt that the silence spoke more than 1,000 words? That's a sign. Soul love doesn't need validation. It lives in the gaze, in the gesture, in the simple act of being. And when you find that, you finally understand why so many other relationships never worked. Because none of them felt like home. And the soul, deep down, is always seeking to return home. Have you ever held onto something that, deep in your soul, you knew you needed to let go of? A relationship. A story. A person who no longer truly saw you. Why is it so hard to let go? Even when there's nothing left holding it together. Sometimes, what holds you back isn't the other person. It's the fear of feeling empty after you let go. But here's a painful truth. Staying where your soul no longer vibrates is a slow way of abandoning yourself. Carl Jung once said, "What you do not release with consciousness, the universe will remove through pain." How many times have you stayed in relationships that drained you, trying to force a connection that had already left? You make excuses. You believe it will change. You endure a little longer. But inside, you feel it no longer resonates, that it's no longer home, that it's no longer truth. And still, you stay, out of fear of being alone, out of attachment to the story, out of disbelief that something greater could exist for you. But here's a secret. Letting go is not loss. It's space. Space for the new. For what vibrates at the same frequency as your essence. Staying where it hurts is telling the universe, "I accept less than I deserve." Letting go is saying, "I trust. I trust that something more aligned is waiting for me. I trust that I deserve reciprocity, truth, and peace." So I ask you, are you still holding on to something you already know you should have released? Stay with me, because this journey isn't over yet. And what comes next might be exactly what your soul is ready to receive. If this touched something inside you, don't stop here. Keep watching. The next message may be the final nudge you've been waiting for. You're closer than you think. Just keep going. Have you noticed that you're always searching for someone to love you, but rarely ask if you're truly loving yourself? You wait for someone else to choose you, but have you chosen yourself today? You want someone to value you, but do you value yourself when you're alone? Carl Jung once said, "What you deny in yourself, the world will also deny you." And true love begins when you stop chasing and start seeing yourself with presence. Because as long as you're desperately searching for love out there, you risk accepting crumbs, calling attachment passion, confusing pain with depth. And all of this has a root: the emptiness you still haven't filled within. Have you noticed this pattern? Attracting unavailable people, losing yourself to please, accepting less than you deserve, out of fear of being alone. It's not bad luck. It's not destiny. It's reflection. The relationships you attract mirror the relationship you have with yourself. And as long as you're running from yourself, you'll keep finding out there exactly what you fear the most inside. But here's the good news. You can change that. Because when you start to truly love yourself, you stop begging for love. You stop chasing. And you start attracting. You become whole. And what is whole doesn't settle for halves. So I ask you, are you waiting for someone to love you while abandoning yourself every day? Stay with me, because what comes next will show you a kind of love that doesn't cage you, doesn't consume you, but frees you. What if true love wasn't the one that gives you butterflies, but the one that makes you feel free? Have you ever wondered why some loves hold you down, while others make you soar? Why some people suffocate you, and others, just by being near, help you breathe more deeply? The truth is simple. Real love doesn't tighten. It opens. It doesn't shrink you to fit someone else's world. It shows you that your world can be even bigger than you imagined. Carl Jung said that true love doesn't ask you to change your essence. It reveals your essence. It's the kind of love that lights you up, that challenges you to grow, without pushing you away from who you are. That shows you vulnerability isn't weakness, but a portal to something profoundly human. And do you know the clearest sign of that love? You feel more like yourself. You laugh louder. You dream bigger. You walk with more confidence. And most importantly, you recognize yourself. This kind of love doesn't ask you to hide. It doesn't ask you to adapt. It doesn't require the sacrifice of your soul. It only asks for presence. But, are you ready for that? Are you ready to experience something that doesn't feed on fear, dependency, or absence? but on expansion. Are you ready to step out of emotional survival mode and into the space where love blooms effortlessly? Stay with me, because the next step might be the most important one on this journey. If this video spoke to you, it's because you're ready for more. Keep watching. You're closer to the kind of love that expands you than you think. In the end, the love you're searching for isn't out there. It begins within. It begins the moment you choose to look at yourself with truth, to choose yourself with courage, and to love yourself with presence. Carl Jung once said, "What we do not find in ourselves, we will search for in others, and for that reason, it will never be enough." Do you want to be seen? Then see yourself first. Do you want to be loved? Love yourself without conditions. Do you want to be chosen? Choose yourself, even when the whole world doubts you, because only when you become home can another arrive to share, not to fill what's missing. You're not broken. You're awakening. And true love is the one that walks with you through that awakening. Without rush, without pain, without fear, just presence. So the next time you lock eyes with someone and feel your soul tremble, don't ask, "Is this the right person?" Ask yourself, "Am I ready to live a love that sees me, without needing to hide?" The answer doesn't lie in others. The answer is within you. If this message touched you, it's because it came at the right time. Keep watching. The next video might be exactly what your soul is ready to hear. And if this message resonated with you, subscribe to the channel. That way, YouTube will know this content matters to your journey, and it will keep showing you messages that awaken you. It's not a coincidence that you're here. Nothing is by chance. The journey continues.